Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and actually our final video before season 1 of the Rings of Power premieres. And because it is our final video as a group of us together like this, we'll just be going through our final thoughts for the show, our predictions for season 1. So we'll be talking about all the storylines individually. We'll be splitting it up through the different kingdoms and realms in Middle-earth, and then also be going about our predictions on the Stranger, Sauron, etc., etc. So, and of course, joining us for this as usual, we have to my, I think, right, we have Hen. Hello there.
Hi everybody. Hi.
Nice to have you back. And also, look, we have to my left. I got it wrong twice now. Look at you.
Hi everybody, good to be back.
Good to be here. And how do you enjoy New York? What was that like?
Oh, that was a dream. I'm really happy I got the opportunity. So,
yeah. And another person who is at New York, who's actually frozen on our screen because he cannot come on video, but we do have Mr.
But he's gorgeous.
Yeah, he is gorgeous. I agree.
Always.
New
York was a dream for me as well, because I got to finally meet in person Lakitia instead of just seeing her face with a blurred background on the internet. So terrific time, and I hope if there are any folks in this group headed to future things, you guys all have a blast just like we did.
Indeed. But as someone who has always had a smile on his face, we have Mr. Strider. Hello, my friend.
Hello, everyone. Always happy to be here, and I cannot wait for us to delve into this video.
And
hopefully everybody will enjoy it.
Yep, and he does also have his signature dragon on his head. So there we go. There we go. So how this is going to work. We're going to start off, we're going to go around, and then we're just going to give our quick predictions. So we'll try and keep it brief to get through it, because there's a lot to get through, a lot of predictions this season. I think, as we've all mentioned before, it's a lot on the plate for their juggling with all these different storylines. So we do technically have 6, but we're not including the Sundering Seas. So I think let's go down and up. So Strider, I think I'll start off with you. What are your predictions and main thoughts for Linden?
I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect there. I can say one hope I have is I don't think a lot of things will be happening in Linden in the first season, like nothing too crazy. But I was always hoping that, and I think a person here will like this. I was always hoping that we would see Gil-galad interact with dwarves of the Blue Mountains, because they're like house next door. So I'm hoping we get to see that, but so far there was literally, I think, 0 clues that we may see that. So I don't know. I'm hoping that will happen. I don't know what to expect from the storyline there. I think there's going to be like a lot of talking and a lot of setup for different things. There's going to be, a lot of character interacting with character like Elrond and Gil-galad, but nothing spectacular, I think, in this season. So I'm hoping for some dwarves of the Eredluin. And yeah, that's it.
I think that's a little bit in the future, possibly, but it would be nice to see. But I think more to the point, I think when we say Linden, we really mean the characters that come from Linden. So that would entail Galadriel, who's going off, but she's from Linden, so to speak, as well as Elrond.
Commander of the Northern Armies.
Yeah, that's really what I think we mean when we say Linden as a storyline.
And you're
fair enough.
Yeah.
What?
No, but I mean, it is a good point. Well, I don't know. Okay, fair enough. So regarding Galadriel, I don't know. That's the big question. Like, she's going to be all over the map. She's gonna go to Foradvite, then she's gonna go to Numenor, then she's gonna go to Tirharad. She's gonna be all over the place, like Indiana Jones. She's just gonna be traveling, like across the globe. Bit. Yeah, so I think the biggest question about her storyline is Halbrand and the relationship with him, because it kind of feels like they will be the two halves of the same storyline. So I'm wondering what's going to happen there, and I think maybe I'll comment a bit more on that later. So I think it's pretty straightforward. They said they told us a lot about her journey, I think, in the trailers, maybe too much. Like, we know where she's going to be and what she's going to be doing mostly.
Yeah.
It's just the question of like the final point of the season where her story will end up.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll get to that a bit later.
And then
Yeah, I
Hen,
think-
I'll extend it onto you now.
Yeah, I there's a lot of ways to look at it. Linden itself, I agree, itself would probably be a little uneventful at this point. It will probably start being more eventful on its own when it's really pressed hard by Sauron, maybe. And that would be a good opportunity to see the Ered Luin, which would be very nice because you'll have like a mental image of what Thorin's halls and the Blue Mountains would be later on. So that's like
Good
there's
point.
something nice about it.
And
But
wait,
because
Ken,
yeah.
I tried to cover a lot of it. Could you maybe go into Elrond a bit? Maybe?
Yeah, sure. Elrond we know is going to Khazad-dûm, but really more generally, and it's one of the things that I like more, is Elrond they say politician, but I think they would have been better served by calling him diplomat,
Diplomat.
you know? So he's like, talking with Gil-galad and kind of planning things with him, and is going to Khazad-dûm, and is going, apparently with going to, I presume, Austin Edel, because we see him with Celebrimbor, and so I like that. That's nice. There's something nice about it. Yeah.
And I'll move on to me next. And I know it's, both of you have said we might not see that much. I'm actually of the mind potentially that in the first 2 episodes we do get to see maybe more of it in that period than we will see later on in the season. I think once the characters leave, once everyone leaves Linden, once Galadriel leaves Linden, I think soon then it will start to water down a bit, because I think maybe even after the dinner scene, that after that point, I think so. I think
Right.
I think, for example, the crown giving ceremony, Galadriel having to go west, etc., and then all that discussed that the scene you have, we saw the poster of them at presumably Finrod's tomb, all that. I think first 2 episodes we might be seeing a lot more of that. So I think that's how Linden will fare out. But I do think it's a thing that maybe in the season we'll get to see more of that again. I think Galadriel, I think both of you already covered that. She's all over the map. I think it's quite unpredictable how that will all come together. But it does seem like a tangible storyline, which once you get all these different places where she's going to be, you can put together one narrative, which is, again, as Strider says, includes a lot of Halbrand in it. And I think, Elrond, interesting. We don't know too much about him except from going to Khazad-dûm. So that's all I'd say on that. I think that's more of an ambiguous one. But
we'll get to it, but I think that's another one of the storylines that is going to have, or seems to have, less like incidents in it, which is not to say that it's not as good, just that it's less eventful.
Yep. And pass it next on to Lakitia. I'm sure we've repeated quite a lot, but give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of what you said. I think Linden is mostly going to be a hub in this season, a sort of place where people start out of, like you said, leave and then come back again. I'm not sure we'll see Galadriel arrive back in Linden in this season. I have the feeling that we won't. I wanted to talk about what Fellowship has just mentioned, that dinner scene that really intrigues me. In one of the recent promo videos, we also saw a scene of Durin and Elrond just walking down a forest together. So I'm really curious what that's all about. So it seems that Elrond will be traveling quite a lot this season as well, the distances are quite big, so I just hope they do it tactfully.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, but then again, we see Galadriel travel a very, very long way, and we presumably will see Galadriel arriving back in Middle Earth with the Númenóreans. So yeah, there will be a lot of long distance travel throughout the season, but mostly I'm curious about how that dinner scene will play out. Does that mean that the elves of Linden will be forging a sort of an alliance as well? Not just the elves of Eregion, which is much closer, obviously. So yeah, I think Linden is gonna take the backseat a little bit, and I don't expect Gil-galad to be one of the main characters. Benjamin Walker hasn't appeared in the promotion quite as much as some other characters. Like some editorials only had a few main characters in them, and he was never there mostly. So I think he'll be one of the not supporting characters necessarily, but not the main ones.
I agree, and I think Hen, you hit this to me a few years ago, which it still hits in my head. when you do television shows, you never really focus it on the king. And I remember you saying that a while
You
back.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying that when you do a war movie, you don't do it
Yeah.
on Eisenhower or someone like that. You do it on Patton. You do
Yeah.
Patton. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's the same sort of thing.
I agree.
It's not an outgoing, super outgoing character at this point. I think we'll really start seeing more of some of
It's
those
true.
characters when the war gets to his.
He does seem quite serious, and I will say that about him. Like darkness will march over the face of the earth. Like
A little bit enunciatory, but
Mhm.
yeah.
But Varking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, firstly.
I just wanted to say that, you know, in other storylines, the royals are going to be the main focus, or one of the main focuses as well.
Khazad-dûm, yeah.
Khazad-dûm and then Numenor as well. I think Miriel, Pharazôn, the battle for the throne.
That's actually a good
Um,
point. I didn't think of that. We don't really have a lot of we don't have any really Numenorian like plebs
No,
as characters,
not
do we?
yet.
No.
No.
And neither in Linden really. We have
Except
like
for Isildur's friends. I think that's the only one we can.
yeah, but I mean
Yeah.
like they're
But
yeah,
also,
but
you
like,
know, Elendil, as he seems to be built up by the interviews
as
and
the
everything,
everyman.
he's not exactly the everyman, but you know, he isn't exactly a part of. He doesn't seem like the part of the upper society in this show, which is, you know,
Yeah. Fair enough.
really
I
interesting.
agree. And so yeah, we'll get into Numenor. We'll go into Numenor. But
Yeah.
Varking, I know you don't have. Do you have any final thoughts on this, or is this not really an area of interest to you?
Are you not going to call on me?
No, I'm saying good for you. Do you have any final thoughts on that?
Oh, I got some thoughts. I got some thoughts
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
Linden. You see, Linden reminds me of Tinder in my younger years. It just needs to look beautiful or eye-catching to start to get people to want to see more, and then we can get to know it better later,
Wow.
possibly during dinner, like a dinner scene, and maybe when we can get more dwarves involved. But hopefully we don't spend too much time with it or get too attached, because I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of it in season 1. That's my thoughts on old Lindy.
Fair
Yeah.
enough, and I think very nice and succinct. I agree. I think we're all at this main point is that maybe it won't be the vocal work, but more as a hub, as Lakitia said. Looks like after a long while we have a penguin who's just dropped below me. Hello, my friend.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Very well now
Perfect.
that you're arrived.
Yeah.
Hey, that was my line.
But as I said before, we're going on a region next, so I think it's only fair that we start off with Lakitia.
Oh, okay. Okay, first of all, my first prediction about the region is that we won't get Ostinatil name dropped at all. I think a region will just be referred to as a region. So what do I expect to happen? I don't expect the rings to be forged this season. I expect us to get to know Celebrimbor a bit better, to maybe get to know his ambition, to see what his motivation is. I don't expect us to see too much of the Guaitimirdain in this season. I hope we ever, I hope we eventually get to see them, but I don't expect to see them appear yet. I don't even expect Anatar to pop in a region this season yet. There might be, I don't know, there might be hints of it. There might be maybe the person who is later revealed to be Sauron will make contact with Celebrimbor at some point or something like that. But I don't expect us to see his arrival in Eregion just yet. That's
Is
it.
the Chase Lounge in a region?
Is the what?
Is the Chase Lounge?
I mean, absolutely.
The chaise longue, yeah.
I don't know how long it is, but what I do know is the one cool thing the elves have that we've seen in some other media is the hammer that he uses is gorgeous, and I hope that we see nothing but that the whole season from anything elven.
No. I want my Celebrimbor. I want Charles Edwards. He's magnificent, and I want to see as much of him.
So
well, him on the couch is perfect. So.
Varking,
yeah, I want the
what I get from this is Varking really wants some hammer time.
Yeah.
I do like hammer time and diggy hole.
Stop.
diggy hole.
It's not nice making me laugh.
I think Varkin, you're just below Lakitia, so we'll go on to you next. Of course, you know the dwarves do have some relations with the elves of Eregion. So, what are your thoughts and predictions?
I just predict that the elves are going to be pretty needy, and they're going to need the dwarves for something. I mean, who knows what? Probably to do work or kill their enemies, because that's what elves do. They show up, they want something, they expect you to do all the work for them so they can stay pretty and don't get dirty. But that relationship from Eregion to the dwarves, I'm looking forward to seeing that play out a little bit. But like I said, I'm really just want to see work get done with that hammer.
Yeah, and maybe Penguin, we'll go on to you next. Do you think maybe during that relationship we might see some, shiny material, some mithril get involved at some point?
Probably. What I really want to see is a forging montage. Him not. Let's take the hammer time and just expand that out to a montage. Put some like upbeat, pump it up music, 80s style.
Pump it up.
Yeah, something like that. I like what you got. Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, I was wondering
arm of the ringsmith. Dun 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 dun. Something like that.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
It's not
Thanks.
impossible. It's not impossible after the music in the recent trailer, which is quite funky. So you never know what they have in plan. But
where there's the whip, there's a way.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, please. I want to see that happen. Thank you.
Also, it looks like Strider's turned vertical for some reason, but you've
It's
turned
because
vertical.
of the song.
Yeah.
He turned.
The whipping turns him around.
He
Wow.
turned the gravity back on.
But Strider, what are your predictions for Eregion?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. So Okay, so you remember the hands posters and the whole scroll thing, and Elrond being an architect. I'm hoping we'll get to. I think and I hope we'll get to see maybe like I don't know what was the name of that, but I think they had like the specific maybe place where Gwaithimildain were, like their hall or something like that. So I'm hoping that maybe they will maybe build that maybe with the help of the dwarves. And yeah, it would be really cool to see Celebrimbor work on something before the rings. So to see him in action and to show us his gifts, I think we will get to see something like that.
Yes.
Because of course the rings won't. Yeah. The rings probably won't be made in this season, so maybe we'll see something at the end of the season. Something will be happening perhaps. But I'm thinking and I'm hoping we will see him do something.
Get it done.
And hopefully Elrond, the dwarves, there's a lot of potential there with that scroll, with him being the architect. Elrond apparently being the architect. So I'm thinking we will see something like that.
You raise a good point. We need to see Celebrimbor. We need to see that Celebrimbor is actually a good smith. I mean, don't just tell him. Yeah. Don't just tell him. Show him making something that's more. Here's a great tie-in.
It is a good point.
The Phial of Gadriel, something like that, or the Alessar, something like that.
Yep.
Maybe I don't know how Barking missed saying that, but maybe we see Narvi. Maybe not in this season. Hopefully in this season, but maybe not. But maybe see the doors, or something like that. Working on the doors.
Why see Narvi why see him when we could see one of a dozen original characters?
Yeah,
fair.
I do think if Narvi was in this season, he would have been one of the major characters.
For sure.
Yeah, maybe it's a tool for us.
Yeah.
I was thinking going along with the montage idea, it could be like 12 and a half minutes of Celebrimbor hitting a stone and complaining, I'm not as good as Narvi. Before they move on to something else.
And he is training to become as good as Narvi. Perfect.
I wouldn't be opposed to a 12-minute montage of Celebrimbor just working. So.
Yeah, and you know what?
It's a montage, and he's working with his hammer and his forge. I mean, he's got to have his shirt off, right?
Shut up! That's what I was about to say. Charles Edwards, he's pretty good for his age. Penguin.
He's good.
You're pretty good for your age. You know what it's like. It is. Yeah, we get to.
He looks still good. That's not fair.
Yeah. But I think, Hannah, unless you have any final thoughts while we wrap up our thoughts on Eregion.
I'll just point that Viking made kind of semi-jokingly, but some of the storylines will be more involved with other storylines than others. And I think the Celebrimbor's one, the Eregion one, will be very closely linked with Khazad-dûm.
We do know from the recent video on Durin that he does. That he does meet them with Elrond when they first arrive. I was thinking maybe Elrond and during the fourth meetup of Celebrimbor and during the third meetup, maybe that could be a possibility.
Maybe.
And I think for me, which I think happened, I think the idea of lesser rings. I think rings of power. I think there'll be some hint to something ring related
Yeah,
to the season, and I
yeah,
think
I think
that
so too.
makes sense.
so
That makes
maybe.
sense, yeah.
And I think a potential Adar is growing in the darkness of March over the face of the earth. So there's darkness. People know about it at that point because if Linden and Gilgalad does, I'm sure the rest will do too. So maybe if he thinks, maybe we need to contain this and experiments with some rings, the rest is history. So maybe if they want to do it that way, they could. But
I don't expect that before the second season or the very end of the first season, like in the aftermath.
But forging lesser rings would be a nice foreshadowing already in this season, so I think it's possible.
Exactly.
Oh, sure, but after Alkitia, like after the whole action we'll probably be getting in the second half of the season, like the whole whatever's happening to her. I think maybe after that, the aftermath of the first season would be Celebrimbor starting to work on something like that.
Yeah. I see it like I don't see it. I see it like at the end, at the denouement, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
but I think given that the show is named The Rings of Power, I think we will have to see something from the rings in this season.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the Rings of Power, perhaps, but I think we're gonna see some jewelry being made.
That's the challenge I'm seeing with this season is that it's called The Rings of Power, and everything that we know just sounds like setup for that story. There's nothing that leads directly, as far as we can tell, to someone making some rings yet.
Yeah.
I get that argument that this season strikes people as being a lot of table setting. At the same time, already at the very least, the scourge of Sauron is very kind of present, at least in the characters' minds. So and certainly his servants are, hard at work. So it's not really just table setting in this regard. It is forwarding the central conflict. So
yep, indeed, and I think we will see how maybe if it is a setup season or not. I think that's another good prediction of whether or not it will be that. But to move along, Mr. Unsong, here's your moment. Khazad-dûm predictions. What are your thoughts about it? Take it away.
Let me get my popcorn.
Yeah, please do. Sorry, I'm driving, but I heard Khazad-dûm and my thoughts. My thoughts are, this is going to be the greatest content in Lord of the Rings history. We're going to see the dwarves at their peak, in their peak place. We're going to see animals being brought in, and how do the dwarves utilize the different animals to do things in their city? How do they, in depth, where are they mining? The whole resonating bit. They're growing plants down there, and they're moving that watch light or whatever you want to call it throughout. Is that just for sight, or is that to help bring some sort of light in to help grow plants? How are they sustaining water? Game of Thrones dwarvish politics to find out, the whole prince king thing, two Durins at the same time. There's a lot of intrigue there. I know a lot of people are worried about that storyline. I've got concerns about there being two Durins alive at the same time, but I'm fascinated by it, and I want to see how it plays out in story in the world. And then they're going to make frenemies with the elves at some point. Like, we know this, and every bit of that is good stuff. And all the images we've seen, almost every outfit we've seen, the beards look good. It's just going to be the greatest time in all of our lives, and I just hope that you guys are able to appreciate it as much as I'll be able to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I
think it does look very pleasing.
The show can suck. Every plot line, the elves can suck. Humans, Numenorian, everything. Elves suck 2 times. As long as the dwarves are good, I'm gonna be on Twitter having a good old time and just enjoying the foolishness from everybody else. That's my thoughts on Khazad-dûm and the dwarves.
It is a very good point, though, that
someone give that meta mic.
The storylines may be very uneven for certain people. Like one person may much more enjoy one and not enjoy the other. Like, they're not going to be uniform necessarily, and they're not going to be uniform throughout the season, really, because we have different directors coming in. Not all the episodes are written by quite the same people. They change it's very tempting to think of it like as a chunk, but it's not. It's many composited parts, and some will be more successful than others.
Yeah, and I think Varkin, you've already given us basically basically good pitch of Khazad-dûm. So does anybody else have any final thoughts on that?
I
Well-
do. Yeah, I would like to say that I believe we had the leak some time ago that there may be some religious sects in sects in
Sects, he
just to
said.
be like a
Yeah,
religious sect.
That's the way I
So-
heard it. Yeah.
So just to be clear,
It was
religious
just gonna get
sect.
interesting.
Yes.
Oh my god.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I don't know what it may include.
Intrigued.
I don't know what's going to be like, but we had a leak about that. There may be something with religion regarding the dwarves. It was months ago. I think it may be even my first episode. So I would be very interested to see that. And I think maybe there was also, or was it our speculation based on this regarding religion? But some political tensions, which Martin also mentioned. So basically, I'm interested to see this aspect as well. The religion of the dwarves. We heard by Owl's beard. We heard by Owl's beard mentioned, I think, by Lisa. So he's already mentioned. So maybe we can see something like that. Perhaps she gets her voice resonating, cave changing, altering powers, maybe through some religious source or something like that. So I'm
No, I
interested to
think-
see what's going to happen there.
I think it's the opposite. I think the resonating could come across as a religious ceremony. I don't think it is, but I think it could look.
Yeah, could be. There's
Kind of,
whatever room,
you know-
whichever angle you want to approach it, but it can definitely be something like that. She may be singing a prayer to Aule, for all we know.
Railway.
It
We
would fit
know
perfectly,
He does
so-
get name dropped as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. By Owl's beard.
You know they can't because we usually the dwarves would invoke Durin, and here it's gonna be kind
Yeah,
of
that'd be
funny
very
if they
weird,
do. Yeah, so
Well, it's a little weird to invoke Durin when you've got two of them sitting right over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly. So they're gonna invoke something.
By
else
Durin's
instead.
beard. What did you say? My name? Oh, no,
Yeah,
sorry.
which
Yeah,
beard?
no, not you, Durin. the
But
other
but
one.
I do think,
the other
and
one.
I've said it before, that it doesn't seem to be the most event-packed of the storylines.
Unless there is something lurking underground.
I think there is, but I think that's like
The
big B.
season 5 end game. No.
Yeah, who knows? We've seen a Balrog in the season 1 trailer, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just want to say that for me, the Khazad-dûm plotline in general is probably the biggest question mark. I think I can speculate very little about what's going to happen beyond what we've seen in the promo
That's
stuff,
yeah.
and we didn't even have that many leaks about it.
Right.
So one thing that we can speculate, and we did already before, is that Durin and Disa are gonna, or maybe just Durin, one of them or both of them is gonna visit Linden at some point. So
Yes.
apparently there is gonna be stuff taking place there, but what is gonna take place there? I have no
Mithril?
idea. I think
Negotiation?
Mithril. Yeah.
We
the
have a
speculation about Mithril.
kind of trajectory, which is they
Mhm.
discover Mithril. But yeah, we don't have like a lot of specifics beyond Elrond goes like you're right, and that's why I say like it looks to be a less incident-packed storyline. There's less stuff happening, which
Yeah.
makes sense.
And I think
except
I
the
forgot
accident in the cave, like the cave collapse or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
We
yeah,
also
that's-
talked about that. So
yeah, that sort of thing.
You know what else I'm
Vulcan-
looking forward to seeing / hearing, and not just the song, that has Disa resonating in it that I think we all enjoy. But it's very clear to me that Khazad-dûm is the greatest track that Bear McCreary or any musician ever has ever put together on an album. That is a banger, and I hope that they end every episode with it.
I
the
can't
legendary
disagree. I'm
humbleness
so
of
sorry.
dwarves.
I can't even disagree. I can't get that song out of my head at all. It's just it just lives there.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I think we are in for a treat with that. But another treat that we're in for is, I think Penguin will go for it first. Tolkien's Atlantis, as they like to say, to Lord Numenor. What do we think will go down here?
Well, the island for starters.
Fair enough, that was good.
Wow.
That
Wow.
was good.
Wow, that was good. That was nice.
I love you, bro.
I mean, there's a lot that can go. Obviously there's a lot that can go on there. I think the wild card to me is Galadriel visiting the island. I think early back in the wee days, Fellowship of Fans, when I was very active on Reddit, we knew absolutely nothing. I always thought, hey, if you're gonna, you need to get some elves out there And I always thought, let's send Elrond there. Instead, it's
Yeah.
Galadriel ending up there, and apparently she's shipwrecked and picked up by people. So it's unusual circumstances, and what she does over there. That is what's really interesting to me. The catalyst for that kind of action, and of course, we know that Numenor is not in a great place already at this point. So it's very interesting to see what they can do and how they're going to provide the catalyst for the downfall here.
But here, unlike Khazad-dûm, where we really know very little, we do kind of have a sense for what's going to happen insofar as Galadriel gets there, and convinces the Numenorians, you should help us,
It's an unusual situation because
it is.
It's not like she's an official envoy. She
No,
is shipwrecked and
not
shows
at
up
all,
there. Yeah.
But and one thing I also want to touch on, mate, Varking, your new best friend, Emma Horvath. We'll be seeing, I think, away from Miriel and Galadriel and all that there, we have maybe her and the Elendil family maybe having some split ties, family drama, someone siding with Farazon, seeing that little split. Kemen, was it?
Kemen, yeah.
Kemen, what's the ship name we made for Kemen and... What's the
a ship in that way.
Bodhi McWorkface.
Carmian. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, what about that storyline in Numenor? That seems to be a separate part away from all the court politics happening in the same stage.
I mean, I think it's all gonna be connected very, very much, and I think it's gonna be the thing that connects, Elendil's family to the court in some ways, and I think it's gonna be something that maybe accelerates the sort of schism between Elendil and Farazon or something. So I think it's gonna be very much one of the main characteristics of that plot line. I'm a little bit worried about how they'll handle it exactly. But
yeah, you don't want to be sitting there thinking too much of Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah.
and the Capulets and stuff. Yeah, but otherwise, it's like,
I think, but yeah, Vulcan, any thoughts on that?
I think it's just fair at this point that I should, full disclosure, I should drop Emma Horvath's name in conversation whenever I can and return a favor for what she did to me. Eowyn is part of an intriguing potential storyline with the Isildur and Elendil and the Numenorians as a whole. And what's weird, and not because I've been influenced by how nice she's been to me, but just in general, the closer we're getting to the series, to the fear of many pure Tolkienists, I'm starting to get more and more hyped to learn more about these original storylines. Like, I have an idea of, the main characters, where they're going to go and what they're going to do. It's these other pieces that are kind of outside that are starting to get the curiosities up a lot more. Where I was
we always knew they needed to create brand new characters.
Hold on, example, before you go, I just wanted to say one more time, Emma Horvath.
Yeah, we always knew they needed.
I like her interviews.
Yeah, we always knew they needed brand new characters. If you're going to show the forging of the rings or the effect that Sauron has when he forges the wand, you've got to have a bunch of other elven characters who have, important or lesser, who are using those rings and the effects that that this cataclysmic event has on them. Yeah. You got to have, if this is going to be a desperate war, you've got to have fan favorite characters who unfortunately get killed. Otherwise, there's no weight or drama at anything happening. I
don't expect her to get. I don't really expect her to get killed off too soon.
Oh, I wasn't talking about her. I was just saying in general, original characters.
Okay.
Well,
I agree. Like season 4, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Unless they turn to the Witcher.
The island does the thing where it's not a thing anymore. I don't want to hurt anybody. Like if you don't know the story,
the Titanic thing. Yeah.
When the thing happens, if we send a boat her way to come get her, she can definitely live with the dwarves in Khazad-dûm from here on out and help us maybe solve one of our own problems. the deep.
I don't think she'd want to do that. She seems like an intelligent young lady. So
Oh,
I agree, and that's why
Oof.
she played a dwarf in a school play when she was younger.
fair enough. That's
Maybe
the
she was
thing.
maybe she was just short and they needed a warm body.
I think she's one of the shorter end of the cast as well. So yeah.
I was trying not to say that, but okay.
But
But I
think-
like her
picking on my
interviews the
friend.
most. Yeah.
sorry. Okay, but as for predictions, I think the final thing we have to talk about yet is Farazon. I think the season finale. I think what even the source told us is that it's this end bubble. Medialism is being gone to Middle Earth. Maybe Farazon want to go there for a bit. Then Farazon can assume control. We've already seen how angry some of the townsfolk are, and I think Strider, me and you are the two Numenorian boys here. So Farazon, do you think we're going to see that consolidation of power at the end of season 1?
Well, I have a few things to say about Numenor, but yeah, let's start with that. So I like the shot. Was it in the last trailer? Apparently, the shot of Miriel, and then there is Farazon like on the opposite side of the main hall, or like the royal hall, and he's like his face is in the shadow. So I like this pun intended foreshadowing of what's going to happen there. So I think we will see the slow decline. They will, I think, Miriel and Farazon will start at a good place, I believe, and then we'll see this. Like, I think the catalyst for this will be Galadriel's arrival and everything that comes from this arrival. So
there was a
tempest in me. I agree with that.
I want to know
that's an interesting line.
Say that line. There was a tempest in me.
But, I really need the context for that.
Yep. And I think
the real context is that someone watched Elizabeth: The Golden Age, but yeah.
But Penguin, tell me, for prediction, where is Anarion?
He's over there.
Strider, you're now Anarion.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's just in that awkward middle child role. You've got the older son, Isildur, everyone loves, overachiever. You've got the youngest daughter, Emma Horvath's character, cute, precocious, everyone loves her, and he's just in that awkward middle child place where everyone forgets about him. I'm not. This touches me because I'm a middle child that was often neglected and forgotten about by my parents. So it's just life.
Yeah,
my heart bleeds for you.
Yeah,
so.
but
virtual hug.
You would be amazed. You would be surprised though. Emma Horvath is described, and like I said, I consistently like her interviews the most. They're the most on point. That Earian is kind of feeling underappreciated, I think, was the term that she put it. So
but I also think that I would say that she is the ambitious one. I mean, given what we've read
in
about
a way,
the characters, I would say that Isildur is based on what they've said in interviews. I think Isildur is trying to find his place under the sun, and whereas she's described as somebody who's really precautious, who's really intelligent, opinionated, and also ambitious. So. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. But I also, sorry, just a short one. I'm also very intrigued by what they're planning to do with Anarion, because we've heard that he's off somewhere else on the other side of the island doing his own thing. So I'm really curious to see how that.
More and more, I'm thinking that they're deliberately holding off on some characters so that they have new character introductions in later seasons. We already know they're doing it with Círdan. Yeah. They'll probably be doing it with Narvi.
Celeborn and Celebrian.
Celebrian, and again Anarion. So they're kind of like, because you want to not, as much as you want the thing to have a unity, you also want it to be, you want it to have a freshness. You want it to keep like new faces, new places, new,
Yeah. Okay, and I think. Just for time, I think for the next one, Herard.
Nope. I haven't spoken my bit about Numenor, so we are gonna spend some time on that. So, firstly, I want to say,
die or does he become one of the 9?
I'm sure. I'm both Kemen and Arya are really.
That is a really good question. Yeah. So. The thing I'm interested in very much is, so something feels off regarding Galadriel's arrival to Numenor. We've touched upon that. It feels like an accident or something. And then we have her quote from the trailer that says, "It wasn't destiny, it wasn't whatever. It was a work of something greater," or something like that. So that may be foreshadowing that maybe Sauron is behind that. So there's like this whole mystery about Sauron, and one of the main theories on the internet is that it's Halbrand. We'll touch on that a bit later. So I'm interested in that, and because it doesn't feel that it's an accident that she is going there, because she's talking to Miriel, presumably, when she says the thing that we were fearing, that we were afraid of, is happening. It feels like she is saying that to Miriel. I don't know, maybe. So in that case, it looks like there has been some communication or something like that. Also, I just a retroactive thought. I agree. Elrond should have gone to Numenor. Hopefully, he will get to go there at some point.
Indeed, and I think you've covered it quite well, and I really like that idea of maybe even being manufactured. So yeah. So
I do have one more point.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. So regarding Elendil's family, it's very surprising for me the approach they are taking here, because like they're not mentioning the fact that Elendil and Isildur and their whole family are indeed part of the royal family. So I'm wondering what's happening there.
Maybe Amundil is part of a family.
I think they should. I think
yeah, they should touch on that. They have to. That has to come to the forefront at some point. They have to mention that. So I'm wondering how they will handle this. And it's very interesting that Isildur apparently starts off as just like a common sailor, which I think is a nice approach to make him this. He may be like this everyman person in Numenor, in the Numenor storyline. Starting off as maybe he's not in a good relationship with his father. He wants to prove himself on his own, so he goes to the Navy. So I'm looking forward to see that. I'm looking forward to see the Ring of Barahir, which is a big deal because it's given by Finrod.
Right.
Galadriel's brother. They need to touch on that. I think they should touch on that. I'm hoping that they will. And of course, Narsil as well, the Great Mystery. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for now.
I think you've covered all that pretty well. So I think for the next one, Teherad will also do Sauron as well at the same time. So I think just quickly, I think the main thing we can all get out of the way. It seems like a lot of the events in episode 6, episode 7, thanks to Charlotte Brandstrom, it culminates in the battle at Teherad. We've seen it in the trailers now. We expect that, and of course we'll talk about Mount Doom in a second and maybe what's happening there. But yeah, I think kind of a soft review, though, good. And quickly, who you think Sauron might be, and then what you expect?
I actually have no real idea who Sauron is. The most prevalent theory, I used to actually think for a long time that Adar would turn to be Sauron anyway, but I don't think that anymore. The other one is Halbrand. I'm not feeling it either. I really don't know who Sauron is. It's still a big mystery to me. And in a way, it doesn't really matter, because I'm much less interested in the, who's done it, kind of who's find Waldo where Sauron is. I'm just interested in that he's there and that his minions are hard at work. So yeah, I have no idea.
Wow, fair enough. And then Strider to you, Teherad and Sauron.
Yeah, so Teherad will apparently be the place where the most action will be happening. So there's a lot of things to explore there. I really like, regarding Sauron, but from like a different angle. Theo, I'm very interested in his character, and my theory is that he will end up being Kamul. I think there's a lot of things pointing towards that. The sword, for example, he is the one that gets the sword, and I think it may be like an heirloom. And we know that from all those clips recently, and I don't know, from all other sources, interviews, whatever, we know that these are the people who are descendants of the people who joined Sauron in the first stage, and they were the Easterlings. So, and Kamul is known as Kamul the Easterling. So my expectation is that Theo will end up being Kamul. And I would really like to see that. Regarding Sauron, it's the hardest one, I think. I like it I really like that there's a mystery. That's how it should be. We should be, trying to figure that out. Hopefully, we will not get that revealed maybe in the first season. It's going to be interesting to see that. I don't know. Halbrand is apparently from this area, but
he is,
yeah.
Is he Sauron? I don't know. I don't think so.
And I think I'll quickly push on to Penguin next.
What's up?
So Teherad, and then of course the main villain.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I don't really know what to expect from that area. We've seen rumors that this could be Mordor, it could be Run, it could be just another part of Harad. I don't know. It's basically a blank slate to me, full of potential. Is this boy going to be one of the Nazgul? I don't know. I think you kind of have to grow up a little before he gets to
Yeah,
that
that's
point.
my point. Yeah.
I mean, he obvious, or unless somehow in the future there's one just really short Nazgul. But
Yeah, I agree. That's what's weird to me. It's not just that. It's like I really, really don't think that Amazon would want to have us have the image of having Viking's back.
In the flesh.
They wouldn't want us to have the image of a fresh-faced 20-year-old, which is what it would be by like season 4 or 5.
yeah,
Being under one of those hoods. And I'm
Yeah.
hearing me.
I mean, granted, he's got time to grow up, so there's
Yeah, but again, he'll grow up naturally. He won't be recast as another actor. That's just not going to happen.
yeah.
I think that that's actually a pretty realistic option for me, because I think the time jump that we will have to see a lot of time jumps in this series. I think he will have to get recast at some point.
I think the fact that we have really young characters, both Theo and to a lesser extent Nori as well, totally necessitates that the entire plot of the show will have to take place over maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years, no more.
But
than
how? I don't like. We have to see Gondor and Arnor built.
Yeah, but
I don't think so.
Yeah, but dramatically, you don't recast the faces of characters unless you absolutely have to.
Yes, but then again,
yeah.
Then again, all this, even the Harfoots are probably, they don't age quite as fast as real life people. I don't think they'll specify how much time has passed. They'll just go with, because Nori is already a young adult, and practically so is Theo. The actor is even throughout the recording of the first season, the actor has already grown up quite a bit. So I just don't think they'll pay any mind to that. They haven't paid any mind to. Yeah, they haven't paid any mind to that in Game of Thrones either. They just normally don't.
Have we seen any indications that they're gonna show the different lifespan, or just talk about the different lifespan of Numenorians versus regular humans, or the Harfoots?
I think they will, but I don't think.
Is it going to be manifested, or is it just going to be interesting trivia? It's kind of like Aragorn in Two Towers when he says, "Oh yeah, I'm 87 years old."
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter to the actual narrative of the movie.
I think it will be. I think it will be like that. No idea.
Yeah, it actually fits with my theory that he is the descendant of perhaps one of the kings of Easterlings who were serving Melkor or like Morgoth, and maybe given the weapons by Sauron. That's why he can activate it. That's why I'm thinking he will end up as Khamul. So it's like the bloodline and like the heirloom that of his family from like 1,000 years ago, and that's why he would. That's my working theory at the moment.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Vulcan, I'll quickly push it on to you. Your thoughts on who the big baddie could be, and Teherad, maybe blowing up.
I don't know. I think Sauron is just the friends we make along the way.
I was waiting for someone to say that. I think the theory about Halbrand. So the theory about Halbrand, I think the internet's front runner for this. But for me, I think he will end up being English king. So I don't think he's Sauron.
I think that's much more.
I would see why people think that. Lakitia, sorry for interrupting.
Too young,
Yeah, I don't think they would just make somebody with like an actual family be Sauron in the end. Like, what did Bronwyn just give birth to Sauron? I don't think so. For me, it's. I still consider the possibilities it might be a red herring, but I do think Halbrand makes the most sense for several reasons. But mostly because we've seen throughout the promotional stuff that Galadriel is supposed to have been on the hunt for Sauron throughout like centuries by now.
Yeah, I get.
By the beginning of this show, she's presumably giving up that hunt or something like that, until she ultimately finds herself on a raft across the seas with Halbrand. We see throughout all the trailers that she's probably begrudgingly gonna start this sort of a first collaboration and then eventually probably even friendship with Halbrand. We see her say to him in one of the recent teasers, whatever you did in the past, let go of it. So it seems that up to a certain degree she's gonna start to accept him. And I personally think that it's much more dramatic if he in the end turns out to be her adversary.
Yeah,
If the person she was hunting all along turns out to be the one who was just right in front of her for throughout the whole first season, I don't like it. I think that's not the smartest storytelling. Go ahead.
Barking, a question?
I agree, though. It's dramatic irony. Yo, it's just stupid, yeah.
Wait,
Absolutely, yeah.
what happens if we're seeing him, Sauron, repent, and he's maybe potentially even a good guy at the start of the season? Because if you get that,
no, but that's he did in the beginning of the Second Age. He wasn't right out evil. So for me, that makes a lot of sense, and it also makes a lot of sense. Why would he even let her just kill her, let her die? She doesn't pose any sort of threat to him per se, and it would be more within his nature, in my opinion, or more within the nature of this sort of trickster character that Halbrand seems to be, to get to know her very well, and then ultimately, of course, betray her. But there's this whole, dramatic arc, how he intentionally gets to know her, knowing that potentially he's ultimately still gonna, betray her, and he still has his own agenda.
I think it all depends on where. Let's just assuming Halbrand is Sauron, it all depends on where he starts out at. If he's this repentant figure, well, how does he go from there to the Dark Lord? Is he or is he just kind of wandering around trying to figure out his purpose and ends up at the Dark Lord place? There's a lot of different ways you can do this, and I just feel like you kind of have to. If you're condensing the timeline this much, and as someone said, all of this potentially takes place in a decade or two, you kind of have to start him off as a manipulative bastard. You can't have him be kind of wandering around looking for his purpose, because there's just not enough time to go from that place to the wannabe dark tyrant that we see, that we all know and love in Lord of the Rings.
Yep, I agree. And
so I hope it's not him, because otherwise, if you're starting,
I don't think it's him. I just don't feel it.
I'm saying let's start with the assumption that rumor is correct. And if he's starting off already as a bastard, it doesn't make sense to spend this much time around Galadriel, who he should know is a pretty important person that can rally people against him. So why not just, whoops, oh yeah, sorry, she fell off a boat. Or
I do. I
very much agree with this.
Harry, I'm deliberately ignoring you now.
Pick me. Okay, what happens if it's his plan for Galadriel to send Miriel to Middle Earth to defeat Adar, so he can be the big Dark Lord?
Oh yeah, it makes sense, but it's the sort of thing where the Dark Lord mastermind has plans within plans within plans.
I mean, he should be having those, to be fair.
I hate that trope where you've got the bad guy who's 15 steps ahead at all times, because when you think, oh, wow, this guy's so smart, and then all it takes is a simple, well, what happens if someone just goes through the left door instead of the right, and you realize these plans fall apart? We all love the Dark Knight, but Joker has godlike levels of anyway, he does omniscience. Thank you. And
welcome.
It just takes so much suspension of belief for him to accurately predict so many variables. I hate that. Go with a simple, direct plan, because those are far less likely to backfire on you.
Which in this case is just seeing Numenor firsthand.
That's one of the advantages of him being.
Where is that?
I would say that's out of curious about.
You know that line we see in the thing, who is in Galadriel goes, the island kingdom of Numenor. when they go in the boat. So I think even there you see the intrigue from there. But
I think in that place it's more like he's like, because she knows things and he's like the one that she has to explain to. He's the audience surrogate, more so than necessarily interesting
Just-
place,
Okay.
like.
Just one thing before we move on. What do you guys think? Are Bronwyn and Arondir both making it till the end of the season and on?
I think they. I just looking back, I think they do survive the explosion, right?
Yeah, they do. But
Bronwyn
is at the top of people thinking people might die. So that's interesting. The Kitty raised that.
I do think of the two, I would say Bronwyn is much more likely, because you know what I personally think is season 2. Oh wow, that's cute. I like my cat more, but that's yeah.
Wow. Poor dog.
I like dogs too. I had a dog when I was younger. Yeah, but right, you do. But where was I? So yeah, I do think like season 2 is like, oh, Tiharad is gone, Mordorized, and Bronwyn is kind of relocating to, I don't know, Umbar. I think that's the kind of setup.
Yeah, maybe.
And so she would have to survive for that, because I don't see Arondir doing that.
So Strider, yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to add to this, guessing again to fit this into the Kamul and Theo theory. Perhaps she dies, and by the hands of orcs or Adar or something like that. Maybe not in this season, but maybe one of the future seasons, maybe season 2. And a certain stranger shows up, offering magic rings and the power to avenge his mother. And Theo is like, "Hey, not stranger with the big ass, like a mysterious stranger being a certain Anatar or whatever his name ends up being, and offers a certain ring, and he's like, take this and go avenge your mom."
Yep, go avenge your mum. Unless what happens if his mum is Sauron? Okay, that's going a bit too far now. Okay, so I think final thing, most important thing, who is Theo's father?
I don't think it's Halbrand.
Halbrand, Adar, which one?
No, it's not. It wouldn't be Adar either. I really don't think it's important.
I'm just saying we had a leak of Adar and a woman talking on a nice top of a waterfall in a nice green forest. So you never know.
I don't know. I really think it's one of those cases. Most families that you meet in Middle Earth are missing a parent.
I'm just saying. Okay. Think about this. Okay, this sounds really, really bad.
Like, really, the only one that we see that has both parents is Disa and Durin.
Yeah. Imagine
single one.
Okay.
And the very closing shot, Sam and Rose.
Imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't see. You know what I mean? Like, and we never see a complete family in Middle Earth.
What happens?
Never.
If Adar for his redemption arc, maybe Theo finds out Theo's is his father, and then you got Sauron, whoever Sauron might be. He wants the sword, so he's gonna kill Theo. So Adar's to save his son and save the day, and he's now a hero. Well, that's something crazy like that.
I mean, it's not crazy. It's just Darth Vader, like it is. I mean, but I do think there is probably a redemption story for Adar, but I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
We haven't actually touched on him. I think maybe we should also comment on him at some point.
I think Adar, we'll have to save that for another time now. So, but I think the final thing, just one word or one name for Me Too Man. Just one name. That's it. So I'll say a name.
No, we have to do the Harfoots as well. Come on.
Yeah, the Harfoots and Meteor.
We'll do Harfoots quick, but firstly, just for Me Too Man. We've talked about it so much. I think we keep this to one name. So Strider, I'll start off with you.
Okay, so I would say I would say it's Gandalf.
Look at you.
They want us to think it's Gandalf.
Okay, fair enough. Strider.
That's
Me?
Yeah.
It's Gandalf.
Penguin?
They want us to think it's Gandalf.
Yeah, they want us to think.
And it's Gandalf.
It better not be, but
it is. Or it's gonna. I mean, it's.
Is it big?
I hope so.
I think
with Hobbits. What about me? What about me, Hen?
Harry, what do you think?
During the second. Unconfirmed in first season. That's what I will go.
Oh
for,
yeah, I
switch
don't think
up a
we'll
bit
know
here.
who he is in
And
season
I
1.
think he'll be a wizard who is not Gandalf, because I still think the final shot of the show could be Gandalf arriving in Middle Earth. So that's my theory on who the final shot of the show could be. Him going on the boat. So that is all that.
I don't think so.
I think
So-
that is
What does that serve really, except to make us feel? Yeah, it serves to make us
Which is
feel
very important.
nostalgia. That serves nostalgia. People love that. So
Yeah, no, the idea of having Gandalf in it serves nostalgia, but the
Okay.
idea of having him go
yeah,
away
yeah.
and
No,
come
but
back
I think
I
is
think
like it
I
does
think it's
nothing.
possible.
so. But if you want time for half it, I think we'll get that's the final part of today. So I think Lakita, you seem most eager for the half it, so take it away.
Oh yeah, I surprisingly I do find them more delightful than I thought I would. I think they'll survive the whole season. I'm not so sure about one character though. In the character breakdowns on Night Edge Media, it said that the character codenamed Hamsam, who I think is Nori's
Okay.
father, it's mentioned that he has a sort of injury that prevents him, that makes his life difficult, yada yada. I think he might be the one to, bite the dust. But otherwise, I think, well, obviously their storyline is going to be tied to that of Meteor Man. My prediction is that Meteor Man is going to end up being their ally, but I'm not 100% sold on that.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I think Harford. I think from Lakita, you've already seen the first 2 episodes. I think what you've told us, pleasant surprise for us, hopefully. So
For me, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
fingers crossed. Anybody
Right.
final thoughts on road predictions?
I think it's it looks to me to be very Shulkunchik, like a sugar plum fairy kind of thing,
Mhm.
I don't.
I was gonna ask for the dictionary. Thank you for
Yeah,
pointing that out.
same. I was like,
you
Sugar
were-
Plum Fairy. Are they gonna do ballet or?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it
Mhm,
just looks
yeah.
very sugary and saccharine
And Penguin, you look quite intrigued down there. Your hand on your chin. What do you think?
He just wants to look wise.
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow the sage advice. Better to keep one's mouth shut and appear an idiot than open it and remove all doubts. With regards to the Harfoot storyline, I don't know. It's not something I'm particularly interested in. But if Varking says he was surprised by it, I'll come in with. I'll try to come in with an open mind. That's been my perspective on this show. From the more I've learned about it, the more I've seen. Well, that's not what I would have done or what I speculated, and I try to appreciate this show for what it is rather than dislike it for what it isn't.
And guys, it's 2 days away, which is crazy. I think excitement is. I think again, Penguin. We started Council of Fans like 2 years ago now, so it's been crazy.
Lakitia was on the Reddit the whole time.
Wait, you read it? Yeah, I think and Varking was there as well. And
Varking.
then, of course, about a year and a half ago, or about a year and a few months, Lakitia was here for
June 2021.
there we go.
Wow.
For the second age show, we started that, but then we also had Strider come along around December time. So yes,
But we skipped a person. Some wizardy fellow, kind of gingerish, I think, has a beard, does a lot of background stuff.
I'll get to them. I'll get to him. And then we'll also then we had, I'd say we had good reinforcement that came in with Mr. Varkin Runesong. So
but we missed a lot of people, like
I think
people on the council.
Hen, okay. Then of course of course I was about to say the 7th member who isn't here as well, Kyle, who's a lot of this we probably won't be able to do, like what we're doing right now. Had no clue how to do this a few months ago, so he's been behind the screen, as Strider said, the wizard. And I think this is crazy. This is our last episode, the last video of all us together before we go into the show, and I think it's been quite a ride. What do you guys think?
It has been.
Yeah, I have to say, I said it, I think, like a week or 2 ago or something, but being here for the past 10 months or so,
That's right.
Being a part of Fellowship of Fans it made my last 10 months infinitely better. Like, I had so much fun. It's amazing to be among people who you can just nerd out completely, nerd your heart out, without thinking about it, without any breaks. So it's crazy that the show is about to start. Like, now we are so close, and we've spent months and weeks and episodes and all those shows and lives and the first trailer stream for Super Bowl, and so many crazy things happened. So it's been a ride, and it's amazing that it's the next stage of the journey is about to begin. So thank you all. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Fellowship for having me join the Fellowship, and to everyone who's been around, following us, commenting, liking, giving shout outs, everything. And of course, hi to Kyle, who is currently not here.
Yep.
And hi.
Dragon as well. And I think it's so crazy that 2 years ago, especially Hen and Penguin Wheel Council of Fans first episodes talking about how we were going to have season 5 with the Battle of the Gothelo and trying to plan that out with how many seasons. I think Kitty's on the Reddit talking about it all the time, Barkin moderating it, and I think how far it's come. So I want to thank that, but also want to, of course, from the Council of Fans, I want a special thanks to Nikki, who we're going to meet in about a day or two. Well, day after this comes out, before actually. So great to see her in person. Thanks to Talking Tube as well, who's part of the council from the beginning. Same for I'm. Yeah, but again, I'm not forgetting Imzo. Then of course I want to also next up I want to thank the amazing article writer, the writing team, which consists of Frankie's done incredible work. It's some of the best articles. We've got Ostrowando, some of the most in-depth ones. We've got Kellerborn, who does on really nice niche things but goes into deep depth. And of course, I'll add Florian to that too, because he has done a lot of proofreading of that part. Then also want to, of course, Matt Gaia helping us behind the scenes with that, and with the narration, Negroni with the Instagram, and then of course White Wolf with the Twitter, and then I think Rory with the Facebook, and then of course Schobler with the Reddit. So I think, and of course newest member Jaron as well, helping us out as well with all that, and been on present a few times and written some good articles for us too, and of course Melkor as well for the TikTok. So I think that is about it. So that's thank you to, most importantly, thank you to you guys. So
did you mention Rory?
Rory, yep, already mentioned Rory.
Oh, okay,
yep.
sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. So I think until the next one.